Hey y'all, what's up? Kind of a late season garden update. It's been producing pretty good for me this year. I've kind of started letting my okra go a little bit. These guys are too large and woody to eat. And that okra came out of a 5-gallon bucket. But really what I've eaten the most and enjoyed the most is the peppers. That's mostly what I have here. This Tabasco pepper has been just going bonkers. This is a second-year plant. I know from my previous videos, if you go back and check, you'll see the same plant in those videos. I planted them in the ground this year. And I'm just going to trim them back once they go dormant, and hopefully maybe they survive the mild winters here in Georgia. Maybe they don't. But it's doing really good, and these peppers are super spicy. I've got to cook those down a little bit before I can do anything with them. But yeah, that guy's doing great. Look how big that stalk is. Jalapenos here. And these don't have any jalapenos because I've been eating them. And as soon as I pick them all off again, they start growing more jalapenos. So I've really been enjoying the peppers the most out of the garden. This was the Better Boy tomato. It is gone. We had to travel for a week and came back and it had just dried up. So both my tomato plants are gone. Got a few strawberries in just random pots here and there, and those did okay. They produced strawberries early in the season. I need to fertilize them. They've been unproductive for about a month or so. These are the F1 bell peppers. Been eating those too. The Anaheim peppers are my favorites. Get to those here in a minute. These are the Cayennes, or as they were called when I bought them, the red hot chili peppers, but these are definitely Cayennes. More jalapenos. There's not a whole lot of peppers on here because, like I say, I pick them off and eat them. I think this one was one that I started from seed as well too. This is the pepper box. Everything in the box here is peppers, and as you can see, they're all hanging over the edges because they're slap full of peppers. I need to fertilize them again one more time, but a lot of these plants are second-year plants. I plan to crop them all down once they go dormant, repack in some more soil on top, refertilize them, and maybe cover them up this winter. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to keep them outside. I live in North Atlanta, so sometimes it freezes here. On some winters, we are colder than others, right? So I may just roll the dice because I'm getting, I get good peppers out of store-bought first-year plants too. These are the gypsy peppers. These are great for like frying. They have a real thick flesh to them, right? They're not as thin as the real spicy ones. So you can make those into like little pepper rings with onion rings. They're really good. And this plant is the banana. I recently picked all the banana peppers off of this one and used them in a dish. This is more of those F1 bell peppers. Got a bunch of those, and they just get so heavy. I may stay away from, I like the bigger peppers because they're great for like stuffing, like a meat and cheese filling on the grill and then grill them out. They're great for that, but they get so heavy, as you can see, that they're just, hanging out and over the box. These are more of the F1s. That's a second-year plant. Look how big that stalk is. It's like a tree. So I hope these guys are big enough to where they can survive a little bit of a frost. So in retrospect, this is a first-year plant that never really took off that well. It kind of stunted Right, look at that stalk. Look at that stalk compared to that stalk. So a lot of those first year plants, when they have the big peppers, they'll get so heavy that they'll break. Well, this guy's gotten big enough to where he'll flex pretty good, allow him to produce more peppers and not damage himself. Now, same thing with this Anaheim. As you can see, there's a little bit of bark on it there. These are my favorite peppers. They're delicious. Great for stuffing, great for salsas or Mexican food, or, you know, all sorts of stuff. And see, the stalk on him is huge, bigger around than my finger. So that's a second year plant too. And those are the ones that I hope survive. More Anaheims for days. Like I said, they were my favorite. Over here we have more jalapenos. And that's a second year plant, that jalapeno, but he never really took off as well as some of the other second year plants. Let's see. And the one in the ground here that's basically laying down, that's another F1. I just bought a flat of those, spread those around. See, there's a few red jalapenos there on the back end. But yeah, peppers have definitely been one of my favorites to grow this year, and I'll probably continue that next year. I do want to do some, branch out into some other vegetables, but yeah, peppers are my favorites. Water system has been working awesome. This is a water barrel that's taking water off of another water barrel that's by the house on the other side of the camper there, and it'll stay full. That one is just above elevation, this one. So what happens is it'll tend to drain out at the very, very top, while the other one just pushes the water out this way. So but I typically don't leave it full. I got a little bit of water in it, but I use this to water the garden. The plants like the rainwater, the organic water, much more than they like the treated city water with you know, fluorides and chemicals and that sort of thing that could be in there, rust or metals or whatever. So yeah, we try to stick with the organic rainwater around here. And lastly, talk about the grapevine trellis. This has been a lot of fun. Aside from the peppers, I've had a lot of fun learning about grapevines, pruning them, trying to optimize their growth. And I've also got this raspberry right down here. This is a raspberry. That is a Reliance seedless grape. And I've stapled their tags to the post from which they're growing on. This is a Concord. This is a first year grape. And I've had some pest plants kind of growing in and around it, and you know, that's really what a lot of the pruning has gone to. But yeah, this one's a first year. Seedless is a first year. These are raspberries, thornless raspberries, and it is taken off. It's a second year plant, and it is all up and down this trellis. Now the berries are really cool because they produce in the spring. So I've got a blackberry over there that I probably need to plant right here. And those vines will grow in with the grapevines. And there'll be grapes and berries on the trellis. Lastly, this is our second year Catawba grape. As you can see, it's a lot thicker in the stalk down here than the other two. It's just got a year's growth on it. and it's done really, really well. It's reached, you can see it's locked on there to that line, and it reaches all the way the other side. The goal with the trellis, now that it's starting to fill out a little bit, I'm gonna put caps that, like T-caps, that go out that way, lines, and then they'll grow out into those lines and be a flat surface to grow on up there. So that's the plan, probably next year. Also, I'm trying a method of cloning the catawba, and how I'm doing that is I've taken some fresh soil, filled a pot, and one of these little offshoots right here of the catawba that's not quite as big as the full plant, just taking that offshoot, burying it deep in the soil, fertilizing it, and leaving it. And the idea is that this offshoot is going to take root, and all I'll have to do is just cut it off up here, and boom, I've got another great plant. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'll let those sit for months on end, keep them watered, keep them rolling, and eventually they'll be great plants ready to go that I can just cut off of the mother great plant and then go plant around the property or on another trellis. This is the muscadine. He needs food. He's drying out and needs some fertilizer, so I need to attend to him. It has definitely been a little bit more difficult keeping them in a large pot as opposed to in the ground. Last year, this muscadine blew up. It was huge. It was way bigger than the catawba. Now this year, the catawba has that nice thick stalk developing there, and the muscadine is just a little bit bigger than it was last year. So probably need to put him in the ground. He'd be happier that way. I need to get some more trees down and maybe even expand my trellis to go to about right here, making sure there's a clear lane there to pull the lawnmower or a truck or whatever into the backyard. I did have some tomatillos grown in a bucket using the trellis, but I've cut those out. No need to use those. They weren't really getting that big anyway. There were 4 plants in a bucket, and they were very, very sour. I just didn't like using them in any salsas or anything, so went ahead and got those out of there. But yeah, it's 2021, September. I'll be pruning a lot of this up in the coming months as things go dormant, and hopefully next year we get some grapes, and we'll have a 3rd-year plant and 2 second-year plants. Those may not produce grapes, but I'm hoping the catawba does. So also something super interesting, this thornless raspberry that's growing here is prolific. I'm telling you, this is all it coming through here, right here. And one thing that's really cool about those is they'll circle back down to the ground, and this guy is taking root. So it's taking root as a second plant over here, and this offshoot here is trying to do the same thing. I probably need to take this and do what I've done to the grapes, go ahead and put it in a pot with some soil and let it root. Cool thing is I'll be able to cut it off further up and then go plant that around the property as a cloned plant. So there it is. That's the garden as it stands. September 28th, 2021. Thank you all for checking out the video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know.